Have you ever noticed that, like, if you travel to a new country and forget the word for water, you can usually just mime drinking. But if you forget the word for boarding pass, you are definitely not getting on that plane.
Yeah, try miming a customs declaration. It's rarely ends well.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a foundational guide to English travel and transportation vocabulary. So, rather than just reading a glossary to you, our mission is to unpack how these everyday terms actually function as as a script.
Right, it's the invisible scaffolding.
Exactly. We're looking at the invisible scaffolding that governs how you move through the world.
And before you even pack a bag, you're dealing with the semantics of intent. The material we're looking at draws lines between traveling, which is the general act of going from one place to another.
Like going away for a holiday.
Yeah, exactly, for holiday. But it separates that from the specific parameters of your movement. So destination, journey, and trip.
The guide actually uses Islamabad as an example. It says, Islamabad is the destination, but getting there is a 5-hour journey.
Which seems, rudimentary on the surface. But linguistically, it categorizes your mindset. A destination is a fixed geographic coordinate.
Right.
The journey is the duration and the friction of getting there.
I like to think of it like the difference between the plot of a novel and the physical act of reading it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so the destination is the final chapter. The journey is the cognitive effort of getting through those pages. And a trip, which the guide defines as short travel for a specific purpose.
That's like reading a short story.
Yes.
Yes.
It implies a quick return to your starting point,
Yeah.
whereas a journey kind of just implies forward motion.
Right. So once you define that intent, you have to execute it. The guide maps out a shift from private autonomy using cars or bikes to public infrastructure.
Like buses and trains.
Yeah. Which are noted here as cheap and convenient.
And this is where we really hit that conversational script. The source lists standard navigational interactions, like asking how to get to the airport and being told to go straight and then turn left.
Or buying a single or return ticket to Karachi at the counter.
Yeah, or explaining you're taking the train to Islamabad because it takes 4 hours, it's affordable, and it's comfortable.
But think about what's actually happening in those exchanges. When you tell a taxi driver to go faster to the railway station, you aren't having a spontaneous conversation.
No, not at all.
You are executing a highly standardized transaction. These phrases basically form a rigid protocol for urban mobility.
But wait, isn't that just basic language proficiency? I mean, anyone who has taken a high school language class learns how to ask for directions.
Sure.
Doesn't seem like a profound secret.
Well, it is basic, but
Yeah.
that simplicity is exactly what makes global transit possible. You are plugging into an established civic algorithm.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
If you don't use the expected input, like the right phrase,
Yeah.
the system just doesn't know how to process you.
And that algorithmic rigidity becomes absolute law when you hit international travel. We transition from civic infrastructure to pure bureaucracy.
Yeah, the vocabulary shifts from verbs of motion to nouns of permission. Luggage, passport, boarding pass, fare.
The guide specifically warns not to forget your passport and boarding pass at the airport, which, again, sounds like advice for a 5-year-old.
It really does.
But looking at it through this lens, I mean, these aren't just physical items in your bag.
No, they are physical manifestations of legal boundaries. A boarding pass isn't just a piece of paper. It's a temporary, highly conditional contract allowing you into restricted airspace.
Oh, wow.
And your passport is your state-sponsored identity distilled into a booklet. Luggage dictates the physical mass you are legally permitted to bring. The fare is the financial toll for all of it.
If you lack the vocabulary for these concepts, your movement literally stops. You can point at a train to buy a fare,
Right.
but you cannot point your way through border control.
Exactly, which is why the source leaves you with a very practical directive. Practice speaking these sentences out loud in your daily life, even at home.
Because muscle memory applies to language, too.
Yes, when you hit the friction of a busy terminal, you want that script to be automatic.
Well, before we wrap up, consider this. We are moving into an era of biometric boarding, facial recognition, and e-visas.
Very true.
As physical infrastructure becomes invisible, how long will physical terms like boarding pass or ticket counter survive in our lexicon? We might be watching the vocabulary of travel completely transform right before our eyes.